Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi guys, CeeChronicles here. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I post fragrance related content and would very much appreciate it if you did decide to join this family by subscribing. Now, if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for coming back. I have 10 fall fragrance recommendations from the Middle East for those who may want to know where to start or who were wondering which selection, to go for during the fall season. So the very first one, guys, is going to be from the House of Pandora, which is a subsidiary of Paris Corner. And this one is Charuto Regal Reserve. Now, this Charuto Regal Reserve, guys, is built around the tobacco note. So you are going to get a tobacco note in here, warm spiciness, some woods there. You are going to get some birch tar in here. But there is a vanilla in this fragrance, guys, that somewhat manages to make sure that those notes do not stray, because the notes of tobacco, vetiver, woods, spices, that sort of thing can easily go, AY. But in this, it works. And I'd give credit to that vanilla. The way the vanilla is used in here is to bring it closer to home, opposite how they use the vanilla in their citron vanille. I did bring citron vanille as one of my least favorite from Paris Corner, and I explained that it was because the vanilla that they use there comes across as smoky and trickly and stuff. This is not like that. It kind of even gives a creamy weight to this fragrance, but there is no cream listed or a note that I can attribute to being one that's giving the creaminess. There's a tonka in here which can also sometimes go wild, but in this is perfect. So this, guys, is a perfectly unisex fragrance. Men and women are equally gonna like this fragrance, and it's definitely gonna work in the fall. It has tobacco, but the tobacco is not pushy. It's just a warm, spicy, easy reach type of fragrance. This is also blind buy safe for those who cannot get to sniff this fragrance, right? So number one, guys, drawing its inspiration from Amouage Royal tobacco, is going to be Charuto Regal Royal from the House of Pandora. Now, next on the lineup is going to be from the House of Lattafa, and this is Al Jawara. If there's one fragrance I get a lot of questions on my channel, is this particular one. Simply because when I did, bring you my Nisha Marathi collection, which is now about 14 or 15, I did say that this one was the most gourmand of the ones I have. There are some that I do not have. Al Jawara is a beautiful gourmand fragrance, and I'm not going to go with the notes when it comes to this and all the other ones, because they have thrown us off in the past, with the notes. You realize, no, this is not, what I'm getting. In this, I get a spicy, warm scent with a vanilla wrapper that adds a gourmand touch to a spicy, scent. But the gourmandness in Al Jawara is a safe type of gourmand, where this is also unisex. So men or women can wear this. The only thing I have a problem with when it comes to Al Jawara is, I'm going to say it's the least performing of all the Nisha Marathi that I have in my collection. And for those who want to know the difference between the Nisha Marathi, Lattafa Pride, and the regular Lattafas, because I did get that question, is I think the Nisha Marathi is a collector's edition. But back to this Al Jawara, unfortunately, this I cannot pass as a fragrance that I've smelled before or smell alike to something, because that is what I often get people asking me. Does it smell like something? Is it an inspiration? This could very well be a standalone. And that question was also very recently asked when I did bring Vaux Patisserie from Paris Corner. Somebody saying, does it smell like Vaux Patisserie? Because Vaux Patisserie has been likened a lot to Italica. No, guys, I'm not going to say it smells like Italica, but what I can say is, if you do like fragrances like Italica, but with a twist, very toned down, not as, amped up there, not as sweet, not as slap in the face gourmand, then yes, maybe you are going to like Al Jawara. That's the closest I can give you in terms of description, but it doesn't come to me as though they were trying to go for something. If at all, maybe it's a twist. So number two, guys, is Al Jawara from the Nisha Marathi collection of Lattafa. And then the third one is again from the House of Lattafa, this gigantic bottle. Now, we can't talk about fall fragrances without, of course, adding Lattafa Sir. And I love this fragrance. Honestly speaking, I love this fragrance. This is massive. It's gigantic. The cap is so heavy. Once you remove it like this, then you realize that no, the bottle is not as heavy as the cap. I don't mind the cap, but I think sometimes Lattafa does go overboard, which, well, it's their style. We're used to it by now, but it can come off to some people as a little bit tacky or a little bit pushy or doing a little bit too much. But anyway, we are not about that. We are about the fragrance, aren't we? Now, this is a warm, spicy scent, loads of fruits, dried fruits. I get wafts of like a mixture of dried fruits, or could be some dried spices, something along them lines. And it does have a woody thing around it. But what makes this one not as piercing as some of the offerings that we've had from Lattafa is the almondy wrap up to it. So it does have a nutty accord that you're going to be smelling from time to time, making those woods kind of enjoyable, making those woods even relatable, because it does have a Middle Eastern touch to it, but it is that almondy nutty nuance, or a cherry even a nuance, that makes this one a little bit likable, if you know what I mean. And I personally love it. I can show you, it's on my on this month's tray, and this is how much I've used it. I'm just going slow, but I don't think I should, because it did launch in my country for $30, and what a bummer, after I'd spent about $79, for this. I did show you the receipts when I bought it. Sometimes patience is key, especially when it comes to these releases that they keep giving and giving and giving. This one is in my country, is going for $30, and I really wish, fragrance shipping was cheap. I would literally gift some of my friends some of these, fragrances, especially some of the, people that support this channel, because this is going for a song in my country, guys. So yes, it's Lattafa Sir. If you love woody fragrances, that's what you're going to get. Another one that feels like a standalone. A lot of questions I get around this is whether it smells like Camera. Not really, but if you love Camera, you're probably going to like it, but I wouldn't say it smells like Camera, right? So number 3 is Lattafa Sir. And then why not smell of a chocolate when it comes to fall season? The chocolate meets a vanilla, right? So this is a beautiful scent from the house of Al Rehab, and I believe this could have been repackaged. I think, these companies do listen when we talk, because I remember making a video, and I'm not saying it's me, it could just be coincidental. I remember making a video saying Al Rehab has some gems, but their packaging is a little bit, if you are somebody who is too much into looks, right? Lattafa Sir might be overboard, but this is a little bit too minimalistic to some people, and it can give off that cheap vibe. But anyway, this is a Choco Musk, a fragrance I thought to add here for those who like to smell of chocolate, right? This is going to give you a choc chip cookie style of feel, like a realistic baking feel is what you're going to get from this, as though you opened your vanilla essence to add to your cake. That is what you're going to get, simply put. So that's the mix, guys. It's very similar to chocolate greedy. So if you want an affordable chocolate smelling fragrance that you can literally bathe in during fall, then Choco Musk is going to do it for you guys from the house of Al Rehab. And then I have this little mini, guys, Eternal Oud from Lattafa. I just drew this one to give you as a recommendation because it draws its inspiration from that MFK's Grand Soir. So you probably would have heard of that by now. If not, then yes, you can purchase Eternal Oud if you're looking for an affordable smell-alike to Grand Soir. This I'm going to be putting in my bag. The one thing that I want to do with these ones is to finish them, because they have a tendency of leaking. Some of them do leak, some don't. This one doesn't leak. But why I have it here as a fall recommendation is it's built around that ember, warm spices, and tonka, which is the perfect mix, guys, for fall. Beautifully done fragrance. It is also semi-sweet. This one is unisex. Some ladies might find it drawing a little bit masculine. If you want to what percentage, I'm going to say possibly 70% masculine. So if that doesn't bother you and you're a woman, you can purchase that. If it does, then maybe you may not need to purchase that. But this to me is an ideal fall scent. It is Eternal Oud from the house of Lattafa. Now in this month's tray, I did put December Vanilla as a recommendation, which is from the house of Paris Kuna. But here I'm not talking about December Vanilla. But if you go by my recommendations, obviously you would have known that I have recommended this. I just wanted to give some limelight to this one as well, being a fragrance that I feel the rosiness and the spiciness in this could be an ideal scent for anybody who's looking for a floral scent to wear during that season. You are going to get, of course, that mix of the blueberry and the tangerine and the magnolia. Beautifully done scent. Unfortunately, this could have been better as well in terms of performance. It's a beautiful fruity floral that I thought to add to this list, because I've been talking about woods and vanilla, spices, woods and vanilla. This is going to give you spice, but it's mostly going to be fruit, spice and rose. So if you're looking for a fruity floral, then this is certainly going to do it for you guys. December Rose from the house of Paris Corner. But of course, you can wear either Either one of these are going to do during the fall season. The next one, guys, is going to be Athena. I mean, I've got to give it flowers. This fragrance, I know I've been popping up every day with it, but what can I say? I mean, when I discovered this fragrance, I was not in shock. I remember getting a comment from somebody saying, "Oh, why did you say why did you put a thumbnail saying Maison Alhambra has done it?" I mean, there's nothing special about cloning fragrances these days, because all you need is a machine and stuff. No, it wasn't about me being shocked that Maison Alhambra had done it. It was the way, you know, how fast Maison Alhambra was able to give us the Burberry Goddess, and it was because of the way a lot of people on my channel used to keep asking me, you know, do you know of a Burberry Goddess smell alike? And then boom, one day I went to the shop. I actually blind bought this one. I wasn't even thinking much of it, and when I got home and sprayed it, I was like, wow. And most of you guys have been concerned about the notes. Forget about the notes, guys. I think just doing one-on-one, say for instance a note pyramid that's one-on-one with what it's going for, a lot of people have figured that out. So it would probably maybe even just be an undoing on their sales or something like that. You have to go with perhaps what some of the fragrance reviewers would be saying. This, guys, is inspired by Burberry Goddess, an ideal vanilla scent with an aromatic touch of that lavender, and it's going to be the perfect yummy gourmand to go to during fall season. It's from Maison Alhambra and it's called Athena. If you don't have this one, guys, grab it in backup bottles and all. If you like Burberry Goddess, that is. And the next up, guys, is Kayali's Vanilla 28. This is a no-brainer. It's almost like that Choco Must that I showed you there. This is going to be your vanilla go-to scent if you're looking at smelling yummy. If you're looking at maybe a fragrance that's going to layer some of these fragrances, say you don't like the piercing feel of December, because it does have that almost realistic greenish tone rose. If you don't like that, you could layer with this. But if your Vanilla 28 is as dark as mine, you will know that this fragrance can carry its own, so you don't need to layer it with anything. Beautifully done vanilla. This has an underlying smokiness, but it's not that trickle type. It's just a yummy vanilla all through, very likable type of scent. But when it comes to this, if you're purchasing it and it's in your collection for the very first time, you may need to wait it out a little, because it doesn't perform as good when you get it initially. It needs a little bit of time to really fuse and then become that not exactly beastly, if you will, but an enduring fragrance. All right, so Vanilla 28 is here as a recommendation, and I think it's the 8th one on the lineup. The last two I'm going to show you here are somewhat of challenging fragrances. All right, these are going to be number 9 and 10, but I'm going to start with this one. This is Aral Zafran's Waf, a little bit of some Black Phantom fuses with Carlisle from Parfums de Marly when it comes to this. So this is a twist. This you cannot say is Black Phantom and then walk away. You cannot say it's Carlisle, but this fragrance, guys, is built around spices. There's a nutmeg in this fragrance. There is a greenness in this fragrance, some patchouli that could borderline be doing a little bit too much for some in this fragrance. It's aromatic and it's going to give you wafts of a coffee, but the coffee also works with a tea. So it's green and it's got the coffee. So there's a lot going on in this fragrance, but I just thought to show you this fragrance in case, say, you want something that is very different. This is not going to be like the rest of them. It's certainly one you may need to try first before you purchase. I'm going to put a link of a company where you can buy decants for some of these fragrances in case you want to try them, because this I wouldn't just say blind buy. It's a bit of a challenging one. It's a tricky one, but holds its own. Lasts till the next wash. Aral Zafran Wafa. Now this is the last one, a Fairy Tale. Right, I did rave about Zemaya, a Fairy Tale, and when I did my least favorite fragrances from the Middle East, this I actually did put an accolade on as opposed to its cousin, which is the white one. I said I did like Zemaya, a Fairy Tale, better than I did like the white one, which was the Al Rosé. But I have to caution you when it comes to this fragrance, guys. If your nose is not adapted to a lot of different styled fragrances, aromatic, even a little bit Middle Eastern there, mossy, with the greenness to them and stuff like that, this is going to complicate the heck out of your palette. You're not going to get this fragrance. But if you like those style of fragrances, if you like that Killian Straight to Heaven, this is what it's drawing its inspiration from. If you like that Ursa, from Tiziana Terenzi, you're going to get a little bit of that in this. But if you know those fragrances, you know that they are complex even to describe. Woodsy, green, patchouli, mossy, woody, earthy, that sort of thing. That is what you're going to get. So this is not going to be an easy one to carry. I just had to caution you that while I feel spiciness and warmth and everything is perfect for fall, it's definitely one you may need to test before you purchase. But that is the last one on this lineup, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'd love to know what you are wearing during the fall season. So let's meet in the comment section where we discuss more about fragrances. Remember to turn on post notifications while you're at it. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one, and remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.